Hey, hi, it's Kit. Alright, so I'm 8 months on T. I missed my 7 months on T because not a lot had changed since 6 months to 7 months, and then I was really busy, as always, because I always think I'm gonna have time and I never have time. So, 8 months on T. Formally, this is my voice, 8 months on T. Biggest changes real quick for an update. My voice is consistently like this throughout the day, even if I talk a bunch, so that's really cool. If I get home, I'm like, hello, my cat's named Marmar. Like, hi, Mar. It's still there, even though that's my morning voice. The more I talk now in the evening, it's still doing the hello, Mar, which is just like that resonating thing is happening more consistently. So I think the muscles are getting stronger, which is cool. I always wanted a Kit's apple, but I don't know if that's ever actually going to happen, so we'll see. Hair forestry-wise, nothing's really changed in, like, as far as hair patterning and stuff in the last 2 months, actually. Besides some stubble, so like this is still getting a little bit fuller. I have to shave a little bit more. It's a little bit more coarse. Amongst all the acne, which is the most fun thing about tea, as everybody knows. Or whatever. It's not a big deal. So, hair, yeah, I've been actually going to the gym. I've not seen a whole lot of results from that because I can only go about 2 times a week, but I force myself to do that now, even though I'm working every day in the week, like 7 days a week. But I figured that I at least have to start laying the groundwork, so I don't have like a whole lot to show for that, obviously, yet, but I'm getting there. So, yeah, the only other big thing was that I went to my doctor and I did a levels check again. My level's right where it's supposed to be, which is cool. They made me do a wellness check. I do recommend telling your doctor that if you're dysphoric, obviously about that probably, and she obviously knows, that that what would make you more comfortable. For me, it would have been a lot more comfortable to have my clothes stay on until right before the exam. I had to sit there in like a gown and a chair I didn't want to be in for about 15 to 20 minutes before she actually came in, so I'm going to tell her next time, which is in like 2 years until I have to do that again, fortunately, maybe to let me have a little less of that time. So that's just me. That means so we changed. My dose is the same, but I'm taking it every 10 to 14 days now instead of just at 14 days. And that helps a lot, because for me, emotionally, I feel like I get a little more, it's just a different place to be in towards the end, and it's a hard thing to describe because it's like a nebulous space, but it's definitely there. So the last couple days for me have always been a weird, I get even more introverted, I get into my shell, and it's not comfortable. I think for anybody that I'm actually involved with too. So I've been doing like 11 days and it helped a lot. So shot a little differently. If it changes anything else, I'll let you know. Yeah, so that's update. But I wanted to actually talk about 2 things. One, taking the affirmations where you get them, regardless of how offensive they might be. So I'm a wedding photographer, and I booked a shoot back 8 months ago before I had started, actually 9 months ago before I had started T, and they're pretty conservative Catholic, really cool people. And I had chosen not to like share that part of my story, so I just let them pronoun however they wanted it, and they chose feminine pronouns. And that's for everybody to figure out on their own. If that's your identity is your identity, and no one can tell you when it's okay to come out and not okay, and how you want to perceive that. That's for you to figure out. So for me, I was like, nope, not gonna do it now. And then 8 months later, I'm shooting their wedding, and it's like, well, everybody that you're around is now he-ing me, and they're like, she's a she, and I'm like, no, I'm not. But it's their wedding day, and I didn't want to have that be a thing for them either on their wedding day. So that was my choice. But the fun story was that I was at the rehearsal, and it's a very conservative Polish Catholic wedding, and this angry Polish woman came up to me in this church where you can't speak, and I was wearing a head thing, because again, I was trying to be respectful for them. Women have to wear things on their heads for this, and I was like, whatever, I'm just taking your pictures. So she walked up to me in the back while they're like doing stuff, like whispering, you can't even talk loud. She ripped it off of my head and said, you, man, you nowhere in church. And I was like, wow, that was really insulting for you to do as a gesture. Like, you didn't need to do that, lady, but also thank you. I am, thank you. So, funny, what are you gonna do? So take those where you can get them. There are like little fun stories like that throughout your experience, whatever it looks like, whether you're in the closet as far as transliness or not. It's just, you gotta laugh at the small stuff. So that was a story. 2, I wanted to talk about something actually relevant for once, which is binding. So my own little piece of advice here, I'm gonna try and make it quick. I'm small-chested, and binding has never really worked out super well for me anyways. Even though I am small-chested, I don't have to bind very much, which is cool. But even wearing a sports bra doesn't do the same thing for me, because a more femininely perceived chest is lower, more masculinely perceived chest is a little bit higher, like the way that fat distributes and all that stuff like that. So when I wear a binder, it just flattens things down, and that doesn't really work out. And if I wear a sports bra, that is, and if I wear a binder, it goes up, which is cool, but then I can't breathe. So I have a solution for that. It's Kit's Kit to Binding, and I would only recommend, I'm not a medical professional, so don't take my advice if you don't trust that. I mean, this is just what works for me. and you can figure out what works for you and talk to people about that. I don't recommend this definitely though for anybody who has a little bit larger chest, just because it is pulling and that's been proven to not be good for your chest. So, but it's done safely with me if you have a small chest. So, this is what my chest looks like in a shirt. Again, I'm looking for anything that's a little bit more like higher up here. And yeah, so not like, you know, a lot of nips happening and not lower. This is after wearing this stuff for about 3 days, so, because I usually wear it for about 3. You can take it in the shower, because it's essentially just Band-Aid tape. So this is what it looks like. No, it's Band-Aid, it's called Next Care. Unfortunately, our society is stupid and doesn't have this in a bunch of different skin tones yet because we suck. They only have it in this really pasty, pale color that obviously, I mean, I never go into the sun, so it works okay for me. Sorry for everybody else. We'll figure it out eventually and become not the assholes that we are as a community. So once we get this in other colors, I recommend it to everybody. Until then, it's just in the pasty white collection. Yeah, so it's literally just tape, but it is Band-Aid tape, so it's better for the skin. It lets it breathe more, and it does actually hold up to water. So I'll take my shirt off the internet now, which is super fun. Wow. So this is my chest. Wearing this tape, and this isn't perfect, and I left it on this way for a reason, so I can kind of show you how to fix it. So, again, it's like pretty flat. What's going on? But since I don't ever take my shirt off, here's my back for the interwebs, what I've been kind of working on. So, what I do with it, I used to just tape just nips, and I tried playing with it, and then I was trying pulling with it, and it seemed to actually work out really well, because it's not just like putting a Band-Aid, it's this tape, so you could actually pull and make it form-fitting. So, I did, so I start with it lower, under my chest, and I pull it across. And actually, typically, when I first start the day, I pull it a little bit further back, so it's all the way back here, and then you just work your way up, and you're kind of pulling. So what it does is it layers and redistributes the muscle and the fat up towards the top, so you get that same V cut on the top of your chest. Same on this side. So, so you have to play with it some, because you have to learn how much to stretch. You don't want to stretch too much, because if this was perfect, everybody would do it, and it's not perfect, and I'll show you why. Because after you wear it for a while, and it's starting to affect things, you get blisters. If you've pulled it too hard, so you really don't want to, you want to pull as least amount as possible for your skin. And then, yeah, you can't wear it all the time. You can't, that doesn't work that way. And this is my fix. So what I do when it starts to do that, if it gets uncomfortable, the good news is you can kind of pull at it, no matter where you're at, and start to take it off and like still leave it. So it's still kind of half binding, like what I've done with this, but then not hurting your skin anymore. So I've done a temporary fix for the day because it was starting to come up by just putting a tape piece here. Same thing I could do here if I wanted, so I'll show you what that looks like. So typically, if it was doing this, I would just start over. Like I would just go ahead and take it off. But for the sake of this, you can just do that. And again, it's just going to do. It's going to keep those flaps down. And you just hold it against your skin, like holding it there because the warmth. Because right now it's freezing, so the warmth will actually adhere it to your skin. And then yeah, then you're good to go. So so what you're looking for with this is just to pull across contour it. You're looking to work your way up, so that way you get that cut. And then if it gets uncomfortable, you can use, because you do pull all the way across. You can use scissors and you can just cut to keep it on for a little bit longer, and then you take it off. Because when it gets done, then it gets done. So, I don't know, this has worked really, really effectively for me. So, as you can see, like, it just pushes things correctly, and like for me, again, it doesn't show through shirts, which is one of the best parts. It actually, like, I can wear white shirts, I can wear anything that I want, and it doesn't come through. It's not perfect. As you can see, this is even like, I'll probably need to cut this off, but I'm not going to do that right now because I'm really cold. So that's a way to bind. If you have questions, if anything about like how to do this, when to do this, how often to change it, just message me or put it in the comments below and I'll respond. And I can kind of tweak that as you go. Do play with it. Don't hurt yourself. Yeah. Thanks for watching. I'll see you for next month.